up, guys? Kyle Bradshaw here. I'm currently at the site of the sand tire test. Lame. Alright, recording on both cameras. Let's give a... Ugh! What's up, guys? Welcome to the San Bernardino Sand Wash. This is actually the extension of Lytle Creek. Lytle Creek's up there. You'll see a lot of my videos. I'm up in the top of those mountains. But down here in the Sand Wash is where I've tested just about every 80/20 and 50/50 tire. Today what I'm going to be doing is taking you on a quick run through of all of the 50/50 tires. So I'm talking the Heidenau K60 Scout, the AX41, the Motoz Adventure, the Motoz Rally. That's I got there on the 950 right now is the Motoz Adventure. The goal there is I want to show you how each of those various tires handle deep sand. Now, the conditions did change a little bit throughout the filming. The total duration for testing 25 different tires lasted about 15 months. And the reason that I used this area here as my sand tire test area, or my area to test tires and sand, is this sand is so soft. Here, take a look. If I kick this boulder out from underneath the kickstand of this 950, take a look. It literally is, oh my gosh, limitless when you're talking about how deep this sand is. It just goes down. So that's what made this area a great test bed. Now, the other neat fact of this area here is we have some baby head rock sections that we can go through. We've got deep sand that I've already showed you. There's lots of different terrains that we can cover here in this one section. Another thing that we did was a little bit of a hill climb action. We'll see that right over there. Oh, check it out. It's a Roadrunner. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen one of those this close in the wild before. Hi, Roadrunner. Go that way. Oh, wrong way. Oh, man. Goodbye, Roadrunner. Anyhow, stay tuned as I run you through all of the 50/50 tires that we've had down here in this sand wash, and you'll be able to listen and see exactly how all those tires compare one to the other. Now stay tuned for a future video if you do more street riding, because I'm going to have the same type of video that I'm going to release for the 80/20 tires. Now, without any further ado, let's get to it. Here we are, first takeoff here in the dirt. Ready? So now we're second gear, pinned open, and you can tell that we're not getting the forward momentum as quick as a lot of the other 50/50 tires that we've tested out here. Now, the reason for that is the fact that that center strip does not have any cutouts in it. And that means that that center strip is what's making contact. So it's just spinning freely on top without having that bite slip that does happen on a true knobby adventure tire. Coming into corners here, we should have plenty of good traction here. So yeah, if I lean the bike over so that those side lugs actually make contact with the ground, we've got plenty of traction there. It's just that if we keep the bike sitting upright is where we're going to have a problem unless we're significantly aired down. The other problem that you're going to have with a tire such as this is braking. Watch this. We're going to lock this tire up and we're going to slide for a really long time. The reason that we're sliding so far is that center strip, literally, just watch this. I got to show you. So take a look. This is a plain as day description or visual. See this strip right here? Our lugs aren't even touching the ground to be able to slow us down. This center strip is actually compacting the ground and we're just sliding. So we're just sliding on this section of the tire, and unless this tire is aired down enough that this goes down, basically recesses like this, these really aren't on the ground doing the job that they're intended for. Whoa, almost fell over. So in this really soft stuff, we should be able to have that tire sinking down. Now I'm getting quite a bit of handlebar wiggle on this tire, whoa, which is something I would not have expected. I've got the throttle cranked open, that back tire is spinning and working. Let's grab a higher gear. Oh, did not like that. Did not like... There we go. So while I am getting forward momentum, I'm not getting the amount of speed that I've come to expect from a traditional 50/50 tire with cutouts. Alright, so my goal here is going to be to lay throttle down and basically do a U-turn here. So while the tire's leaned over, it does really well, but as soon as it sits up straight, that's where we come into a little bit of a problem. So in regards to this front tire, I'm getting a lot more wiggle in the front end than I would have expected from that V-shaped or the V-style tread pattern that's up there. Now let's get into the mud here and see how we, see how we do. Ooh, slippery. Definitely say that I'm kind of sliding all over the place, much more so. Whoa! And here on these rocks right here, you can definitely tell that the sidewall is significantly stiffer than some of the other tires that we've been running. The bike is just bouncing off these instead of conforming over the top. Time for this hill climb over here. Okay, not a problem. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go about halfway up, slow down a little bit. Killed it. All right. Uh-oh. With as meaty as those side lugs are, and as deep as that sand was, I was expecting this tire to have more forward propulsion. But as we just witnessed, oh shoot, the sand is a bit more of a struggle on this tire than it has been on some of the other tires that we've been running. All right, now it's time to jump off into the dirt. Whoa! Not what I expected. I'm getting a lot more wiggle from the back end than I anticipated, or that I thought I would be getting from this tire. Pretty surprising. So it's those side lugs that I saw when I was giving you guys that intro that made me think that I would not be getting that side wiggle back and forth. But take a look at that rear cam. I twist the throttle and that tire just steps out sideways. Pretty interesting. Now coming to brake, dude, these tires are definitely braking better than some of the more recent tires that we've been running down here. Those other tires took a really long time to stop. I don't know why. Alright, I'm getting pretty good drive forward, but a little bit sketchier again than I would have thought. I wouldn't have thought that I would be getting this much wiggle. Sidewinder action from these tires. Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe it's a direct correlation with that V tread pattern. Whoa! Haha, did you see that? Whoa! All over the place, guys. All over the place. We got some good, it looks like we got good speed. We got good wheel spin in the back. Pretty good. Just as I say, pretty good. All right. In my attempt to get a donut right here, I started to slide sideways, got some really good grip at one point in time, shot me forward. Then the front tire hit that deep section right there and washed right out. Let's give it a shot again. Round two. don't do it again. Whew. Let's take a look. That front tire, weird. It's having a pushing effect that I was not having on the other tires I've been on. So an online friend of mine named Ian, when I posted about these tires this morning, suggested that he recommends guys run the E07 Plus in the rear and the E10 up front. The reason is he says that that front tire pushes a lot. I didn't see it when I looked at the tread, but from the results I'm getting out here in the sand, I can definitely feel it. So the forward propulsion that I'm getting once this tire gets traction is pretty great. I'm definitely feeling some pressure being put back on my arms as I accelerate this thing once it does have mad traction. Oh! Here we go, hill climb. Ready? There we go for the little hill climb here, guys. Getting a little bit sideways. Cake, not a problem. Oh. Any moisture that was in this dirt last week is completely gone now. Let's go see what these things feel like on the rocks. I can already tell you that they feel... I had to stop and check the air pressure. When I mounted these up, they were at 30 psi. But even after the short ride down the highway over to this spot, they felt super hard. So got the tire pressure gauge and checked them and aired them down, and they were a little bit higher than 30, but we were out there on the cement, so it should be all right. Whoa, dude, this front end is everywhere, just all over the place. Ooh, that's scary. Okay, through the rocks, what do we got? Definitely bouncing. Whoa! When that front tire hits deeper sand, I feel like we're dropping further down into the sand than we have on a lot of the past tires that we've run. It's like I have a good feeling and then it just disappeared. Like just the feeling of the tire being planted just goes away completely and the bike just wants to fall over on its side. Pretty crazy. Definitely a quicker pickup than the TrailRider tire. I don't know how much quicker, but oh yeah, we definitely get propelled forward quicker than we did on the TrailRider tire. That is for sure. Stopping feels a little bit better than on the previous tire. Getting a little bit of wiggle on the back end on that full acceleration. Lots of animal prints for sure. Better than the TrailRider, but not as good as some of the other tires we've had out here. Still getting quite a bit of wiggle. We are definitely getting better forward push though. Ooh. All right, let's go ahead and stop right here. Ooh. You ready? As compared to, so we have a comparison takeoff in that, in basically that same spot but going the other direction on the other tire. Take a look at that and see how much quicker this tire went forward than the other one. Still getting quite a bit of sidewander action though. I guess I'm not too surprised because the tread pattern is very, very similar, but I did think we were going to have less of that type of shimmy that we're getting up here on the front end and the back end. So I guess the takeaway is the grooves are bigger, so forward propulsion is better, but because that tread pattern is pretty much the same, or very similar I should say, there are some differences. One's a solid bar, the other one kind of cuts across. these tires need a side lug. They need a side lug really bad. Little hill climb action here. The ground is, it's been 2 days since we were out here last. This ground is softer, but I'm not anticipating this to be any, oh shit! Woo! The ground is a lot softer than it was when we were here a couple days ago. Almost didn't make it up. Significantly softer than just 2 days ago. Now, due to the fact that this is a bias ply tire instead of a radial tire, and the fact that we have a single compound instead of multiple compounds, I'm really curious to see how this tire is going to handle over these rocky sections as compared to the TrailRider tire. That TrailRider tire conformed extremely well up over the rocks. It actually did better than a lot of the even more dirt-oriented tires that we tested, which was pretty impressive. We're definitely not having really good front tire bite. Just kind of slipping around all over the place. Same thing in the rear. We're getting that sidewinder action on this tire. Oh, fighting it. All right, same exact track we took yesterday. In fact, we're pretty much riding. I'm gonna say that this tire is less conforming than the radial tire that we were on. I'm bouncing around more on this TrekRider tire than I did on the TrailRider tire. Oh! Oh, come on! Oh, no, 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 no! Almost saved it. Still takes a while, but it is quicker because of the slightly deeper tread grooves than the TrailRider tire. All right, now we're running 30 PSI in both these tires, the same PSI that we've been running in all the other tires we've tested thus far. It's a good compromise for street and for dirt. All right, now I've got the Karoo 3. Time to go do some testing. Front tire's doing a good job at biting. Great job. Yeah, dude, the rear end might not be pushing as much as I would want it to, but that front tire is biting and not making the rear tire have to work as much. Way faster forward traction for sure. Let's do this little hill climb over here. Oh yeah, that felt good. Yeah, you got to be up a gear for sure. Okay, let's go with that same rocky section that we've been going through lately. It's right over here. All right, here's the rocky section. Oh, almost lost it. So we just finished up here at the sand wash. As you can see, we've done a pretty good job at scrubbing these tires in. They're not so slippery anymore, which is nice. All right, down to the wash. Ready to get a first takeoff here on this gravelly road. Really good pickup there on that first takeoff. The back end did want to drift a little bit sideways. I mean, not uncommon, but I wasn't expecting that with the very square blocks that we have there in the rear. And the amount of speed that we're getting just twisting the throttle is pretty impressive. I'm digging it. Alright, so down into the wash we go on the Mitas E10 Dakar tires. Whoa! I'm curious to where that sidewind action's coming from. Definitely not as bad as the E07 Plus, but it's definitely still there. Sidewinding aside, we're getting great forward momentum on this tire. Okay, here we go. Do a little 180 and shoot under the bridge is the idea here. Good that go is, man. I'm impressed with the forward momentum of these tires, for sure. Dialed in. Now from down there, this looked like a fun little route to kind of take on the way down to test overall downhill power stopping. Man, these feel good. There's a lot of tires that I would not have done that on, for sure. Here comes my rocks. Whoa, there's some rocks I don't want to hit. The big fat ones. Alright. Tires feel pretty good, actually. Alright, now this is a hill, very deceiving. So it's rocks on top, but it's super powdery underneath. There's been several tires that I thought would just blast up there, but I've gotten sunk in the ground. So let's give this guy a shot. Dude, cake. That was awesome, actually. Here's the off-road section. All right, out of the gate, I gotta say the suspension on this 790 is beautiful. And this tire's doing well too. I'm able to give it some juice and loft this front end. Water! Alright, we just put this puppy into rally mode. So far the tires are doing really well. I'd like to be able to air them down probably 10 or 15 pounds. It'd feel a lot better than they do here at full pressure. But even at full pressure, we're getting some good bite. I'm able to lift the front end up off of some of those lips over there. It's feeling really good. And this 790 Adventure R, the off-road mode, it felt kind of sluggish. But in rally mode, this thing really came to life. So with both of these sets of tires are running right now, we got 30 PSI in each of these sets of tires. That way we're on an even playing field. Ready, set, go. Ah! I'm all over the place.
All right, here we go. See the amount of forward momentum that this bike gets because this knobby tire is significantly faster than the paver tire. But I'm gonna say that that wander in the front end is pretty much the same between the two. Like the construction of that front tread pattern on that paver tire is really impressive. As compared to some of the other tires that we've tested out here, it's definitely a better tracking tire than some of the others that we've ridden, which I'm really surprised at. All right, let's go find some rocks now. Oh, I got some deep, deep, deep sand over here. This is like powdered sugar. I like this Big Block dual sport tire, man. I like it a lot. Dude, this hill is cake. Cake. So with this Big Block dual sport tire, I'm able to put a little throttle down at the base of each of these little water bars. Just lift that front end right up. I'm getting lots of grip and lots of traction on this gravel road right here. Yeah, dude, not much slip at all. These things are feeling really good. Shinko E804 and E805s. I can already feel that these things are going to excel off-road. They feel really good. Man, it's crazy how just a twist of a throttle on a loose dirt road, you're like, oh yes or oh no. It's pretty easy to feel that initial gut reaction of how things are turning out as soon as you enter the terrain. Kind of crazy. Man, I'd say the dirt get up and go that these tires have is at least 15 or 20% better than yesterday's, which makes sense. Based upon how Shinko is classifying the tire. Dude, so nice. Here we go. Ready? That little sandy patch that we touched on yesterday, I could feel the terrain change when I hit that yesterday. Today, just now, I really didn't feel it much. Interesting. All right. Here we go. Down into the wash. Now I'm running 30 PSI front and 30 PSI rear. Same as I was running yesterday, so our test characteristics will be the same. Ooh, interesting. I feel like the front end is a little bit less planted than it was yesterday. On that initial, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more sidewinder action. It's definitely biting in. I can feel more drag on the front end today than I felt yesterday, but we're getting a little bit more handlebar movement, that side-to-side movement. I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just saying, just letting you know the difference that I'm feeling. Although my forward momentum is increased. Yesterday it was great, but today it is absolutely increased over that forward momentum that I felt yesterday. He tore up the sand yesterday. It's kind of funny. You can see yesterday's tracks down here. All right, lock them up. Yeah, so yesterday we were slipping a lot more than we are today. So I would have been sideways for a few more seconds yesterday as compared to today. We'll have to get that footage, compare it side by side. Ugh, ugh. Dude, so much more controlled. Dude, so much more controlled. Yesterday, I had it sideways for a bit more. No brakes necessary in dirt this soft. All right. Some soft, sandy virgin stuff over here. Let's go find a couple rocks. See if we can't climb over some rocks like we did yesterday. Our track from yesterday. Struggling in the same spot as I struggled yesterday. You can see that sign water mark right there. Let's compare footage today and yesterday right here at this section and see the difference in struggle, or amount of movement forward, I should say. This feels like it's a lot quicker. Could be incorrect though. Cactus, that would suck. All right. My track from yesterday. All right, on to the rest of the test. Definitely a lot more initial bite. You can see yesterday's tire. Nice towel, dude. Anybody need a purple towel? You can totally see here yesterday's tracks versus today's tracks. Yesterday's tracks disturbed the soil a little bit. Today's tracks dug holes where it came out of, like right here. Pretty cool. So let's see how these tires do out there in the wash, dude. Traction control off, my friend. We do not want traction control to be impeding what we're doing out here today. Go. Oh, shit. Sorry. Almost took him out. This tire is not so stable on the dirt road. Whoa. So Travis obviously has way more traction than I do here. Oh, he's throwing some rocks at me too. Oh, man. That TKC80's, oh, nice jump. That tire's kicking up some major rocks into the front of my bike and to my face shield.
Now, mine feels like a really big knobby dirt bike tire.
So right now, I feel like I'm skating on top of the ground instead of actually biting in and getting, whoa, almost lost the front end. Woo.
And I'm feeling the exact opposite of what you just said. I mean, these bikes are pretty heavy in general, so they really do allow the tires to stay on the ground, but you do have to have a good tread pattern for the terrain that you're running. And that's the whole reason we're doing this test, is so you guys can, I'm going to take the more gnarly side since I have the aggressive tires.
I'm definitely not feeling that front tire track as straight as I want it to.
Now this thing, man, I'm cruising. Yeah, you know, I feel forward momentum.
I mean, my rear tire says we're doing 30 miles an hour, but I'm having a hard time believing that.
And mine says I'm going 30 miles an hour and I'm pulling away from you. So
really fast.
Let's see, currently in second gear, yeah, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm third gear, 30 miles an hour. All right, so right now I'm gonna pin the throttle and see how fast I can get up to speed. Travis is gonna wait until I get ahead of him a bit because I know that is gonna grab way more traction in the sand and he should be able to scream past me. I'm gonna do my best to stay ahead of him, but I just don't see that happening. Ready, set, Well, here we are, pinned wide open. Trying to get traction here, guys. Trying to get traction. Oh. That, my friends, is the difference between a TKC70 and a TKC80 in the sand. Again, I've been pinned open the whole time. I'm just spinning like mad back here trying to get this thing to hook up. Dude, you killed me.
I think the trick is to short shift, and I didn't short shift first gear, so I think for the trick of this rear tire on this bike is to get into second gear as quick as possible, which I've mentioned that before when we're in the sand, but I think I lagged on that, and I still got you. That's pretty impressive.
You definitely got me, that's for sure. TKC80 is killing it.
Yeah, these things are ripping right now. I can point these tires where I want to go, and they're going to go.
Come on, baby, let's do it.
You got this, Kyle. You got this. Get it, get it, get it, get it.
Oh, so close. Definitely a workout. Oh, front end does not want to grip, dude. Doesn't want to grip.
I'll test that right now on mine. These 80s have been good to me so far in the soft stuff.
Alright, I'm now jumping off of the TKC70 onto the bike that has the TKC80s. Oh, dude. The amount of takeoff this has compared to that's pretty big. That shift into second gear does have to be quick though. All right, we've already seen Travis charge up this hill and completely surpass my stuck TKC70s. I'm now in the 80s. I'm going to take the same exact path that I just took on that DCT model with TKC70s. So I am feeling lots more initial forward momentum, and this thing just climbs the top with ease compared to those 70s. Again, the amount of grip or spaces between those two sections of knobs is really what's making the difference here.
Nice.
All right, so I gotta tell you, TKC80s down there to sand, absolutely the way to go. Rock solid performance. Never a falter. Now down here, I can go ahead and preload the suspension and jump over any of these little water bars or lips or whatever you want to call them. These tires have a lot of traction and they feel really good in the dirt. Now these TKC80s, I can say, I can cruise along this bed here. Way more confidence than I did on the initial ride out on the TKC70s. Okay, so I can definitely feel that center strip. I definitely don't have quite as much traction, if you will, as I did on that rally tire, but that is to be 100% expected. Again, this is a 50-50 tire. It's a compromise tire. Now we have all four of these tires set to 30 PSI, so they're all the same. Now this is where I have not had the GPS tire in super deep sand before. On my R1200 GS Adventure, I did have it in some mud. I did have it in lots of dirt road action, but I never had a chance to get it into soft sand like we're gonna be experiencing right now. That chevron in the front looks pretty legit. So we'll see if the directional part of that chevron will allow it to track straighter than we saw some of the other more street-oriented tires that we were running before. I can say that the back tire is definitely pushing me forward really strong. Like, it's got a lot of bite. Not as much as that adventure tire right there. See, that adventure tire, front tire is tracking a little bit straighter than this one. But the chevron on the front of this tire is doing a really, really good job. I'm really impressed. We do get a little bit of sidewinder action, but not much. It's actually tracking really, really straight for a tire that doesn't have huge knobs in the front. Impressive. Super deep. So, as you see, I'm digging a huge hole here. I definitely am not having the same amount of forward momentum as I had yesterday from a stop. Yesterday, I think just launched right out of the hole. Yeah, that rally tire mauled it down here yesterday. It was phenomenal. Today, I'm definitely getting more slip than I was getting. Yeah, we're gonna drag race. Ready, set. Ready? Get it. See where this road goes. I saw this one yesterday and didn't take it. Oh no, maybe this was the one I took yesterday. Oh, a little bit rockier, that's for sure. Deeper too. Wow, it's deep. So deep. There we go. Ah! All right, so now we're headed up into the mountain. Now this terrain changes actually quite a bit. We've had a lot of rain in the last week, so it may not be as soft. Look at that, even more of that fell down from the last time we were here. It may not be quite as soft in these sections because that rain's probably pretty packed down, but we're gonna go give it a go. There we go. Ooh, here it is, slamming on the brakes. So this is where we had that really soft sand that we were basically sidewindering through last time we were down here. It's still soft and we're still sinking in it. As you can see that these trucks are sinking too a little bit, but nothing like we were sinking before. Now part of that non-sidewinder action is because we have that knobby tire up front. And that knobby tire is keeping this bike planted in that forward motion. Those knobs are coming down, grabbing the dirt, and allowing the tire to come around. Ooh. And this one over there. Ooh. Yeah, night and day difference. Yes, the ground itself is not as soft, so this here will be the softest stuff we're going to find out here today. And it's soft. I mean, we're definitely sinking in. Here, let me stop. Get you a picture. what this looks like. My side stand hold up? Yeah, kind of. So I mean, as you can see, we're slipping down a little bit, but nothing major. It's not as deep and soft and sandy as I wished. But we're doing a good job. Looking pretty good. Oh, it's gonna fall over. So last time when we were out here stopping this super soft stuff, when I tried to get rolling in that same exact spot, completely buried the bike. Had to dig it out. Now granted, this is not that soft, but I really think that that other tire would have dug in and done the same thing it did. Nowhere near the wiggle that we got in the back with that other tire. This tire's doing a phenomenal job. This is a little muddier, a little sandy mud. We don't want to run over those cacti before the end of a quick day. But we do have a plug kit with us, and these are tubeless. It's quite nice. That's deep. Phenomenal in the sand. I really feel like I'm on a true knobby tire, not a traditional adventure tire. Kind of halfway does it. Let's go get some virgin terrain over here. Whoa, almost went down. So look how much water came through here. This was that really soft section that we came through on the last time, and now it's just hard packed, super hard. Ubers of traction here. Ubers, is that even a word? Oodles of traction over here. It's awesome. Now let's take a look at the rocky baby head type terrain. Oh, as well as I thought it would. Soft sand section, it plows right through it. Oh, a little jump into the soft sand, into the bushes. Come on, buddy. Keep it straight, keep it straight. Jump there. Motoz tires is the fact that the tread depth on them is significantly deeper than a lot of the other adventure tires that we've looked at, and you can definitely tell. I mean, the amount of bite this thing has straight out of the gate and the lack of side-to-side motion you get when that tire actually does dig in and run, it's really impressive. Now, I haven't run this traditional adventure tire in deep sand in a long time. I mean, before the rally tire came out, it was the Desert HT that I ran a couple times. Sand is deep and soft. But as you can see, the amount of traction I've got going forward and the lack of sidewinder action as compared to like that Mitas E10 that I was just running down here, significantly better performing in the sand than that E10. I mean, these Tractionator adventure tires were made for the outback in Australia. They're made for Baja, made for Dakar. They're really a true enduro tire. The amount of traction and performance that I'm feeling on this BMW down here today, these tires are awesome. Oh, it's got super soft, dude. Hear the motor? Just churning in the soft stuff. Now out here onto this little section, looks like they've graded it since the last time we were out here. First 2 seconds in the dirt, I can say that this tire feels really good. It feels really planted. I can move the bars back and forth, and you can see the bike is just tracking with that. There's no slip or slide. Haven't been able to find any little lips yet to be able to hit in order to see if we can't lift that front tire, but this is pretty soft. I mean, they graded this, but it's really soft. There's probably a 2-inch layer of soft stuff kind of on the top here. And then the bottom is a little bit harder. All right, this is where we drop into the wash, where we have deep sand. As you can see, we've got some ATV guys that have been out here, as well as a couple dirt bikes. I mean, did you see that? The amount of push that we just got right there? All right, here's some rocks right here to go over. Dude, total momentum forward. This thing's great. The front has a little bit more wiggle than I would have imagined from the scoop pattern of that front tire. What are we doing? 45 miles an hour across the sand right here. This stuff here is really soft. Decomposed rock. You can see that our front tire sinks in pretty good. So we came around that corner right there, and this front tire just dug right in and buried itself, which is why we fell over. All right, let's do a little bit of a hill climb here to go up to the left. Dude, not even a question. Again, this front end tracks so well, it feels really good. So it looks like somebody's left a hose running up there so that these homeless guys can get a bath or a shower. Take a look. We actually have running water down here in the wash coming from somewhere up there. Not playing in the sand, to down here for like 45 minutes messing around. This is where we have rocks mixed into the sand. I've hit some of these hidden ones really hard from time to time. This here is some soft stuff. You hear that motor? First gear at 8,000, 9,000 RPM. It's chugging through this stuff. These tires feel good. No loss of traction anywhere that we've gone today. It was a pretty decent rock we just hit with that front tire too. There's only one word that I have for these Anakee Wild tires, and that would be impressive. There wasn't a single piece of action that we did down there where these things faltered or struggled or was even remotely challenging for the tire. All right, so we just got down here to the sand wash, and my idea here is to be able to jump down into that deep sand to show you how these tires are going to perform. So the tire pressures that I'm running are 30 PSI. It's going to be perfect enough for anything that we're doing today. It's kind of like my go-to tire pressure on these Tractionator tires. Softer than that, and you know, they do awesome off-road, but they get hot on pavement. Any harder than that, and they don't do as well off-road as one would like it. Whoa, look at that. Forgot about that one. Oh, this is a lot deeper than last time we were here. A lot softer. We haven't had rain for a while. But these tires are doing so much better. This is really soft. I mean, this is like cake. If you go back to the Anakee adventure video, man, we were sidewindering all over through this. That's what happens when you don't have a knob tire in the front. Being able to just dig in and cut through, allow the tire to stay straight in a forward path while the back tire digs in and gives you the grunt. Man, we are having zero traction loss right here. This is phenomenal. I haven't ridden a tire that works so well in the sand in a long time. Let's see if I can find some rocks. Let's do some cross country. There's some rocks. Some good river rock. Now see, this here is like dune sand, super fine. That was fun. That really was fun. And you've got the right tools, playing in deep sand like that on a big bike, it's effortless. I guess I wouldn't say effortless, it still took effort, but man, it was easy compared to the other tires I've been fighting down there lately. All right, I think you guys have seen enough. This tire is freaking wicked. It just does the job. This is where these tires should excel, down here in the sand wash. This is a very desert-like scenario that we're gonna put these tires into right now. Dude, this tire has so much grip right now. Now I have a full knobby tire on the front of this thing. I mean, it is a dirt bike style tire. Huge knobs that stick significantly off the carcass of the tire. Dude, forward momentum on this thing is wicked. This thing is just on for sure. The front tire, straight as an arrow, and the back tire is just propelling forward so fast. But you can see, dude, even right there, there's no tread pattern coming in here for you. And I've got full knobs that are carved into the ground right there. I mean, this is some super soft sand right here. There goes Travis, Scorpion rally tire. Dude, that tire is amazing in this terrain, dude. It just wants to loft that front wheel, have super momentum forward, and that front tire just tracks amazingly. All right, coming down out of the sand wash, we're now gonna head up into the mountains.
And now you've seen just how all of these 50/50 tires handle deep sand. Now, we had 3 different motorcycles that we tested on, and the conditions did change, but this gives you a good idea of what you can expect if you get these tires down into the sand. Anyhow, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the Patreons who are supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. If you haven't already checked it out, please click the link and go take a look at the Patreon account and see if you can spare a couple bucks to help keep this work moving forward. Anyhow, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time, take care and ride safe.